Black Jack's act of murder was witnessed by someone. A large number of police officers quickly arrived at the scene. Having no other choice, Black Jack had to flee with Pinocchio. But he was only afraid of being caught practicing medicine without a license. He hadn't actually killed anyone. In fact, he had come today for a follow-up visit with a doctor. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly discovered the doctor lying on the ground, with a deep wound in his abdomen. That was why he used a scalpel to cut open the victim's clothing. Unfortunately, he ultimately couldn't save the doctor. Seizing a moment of police negligence, Black Jack stole a police car and fled. The officers noticed and immediately gave chase. A heart-pounding pursuit unfolded through the forest between the two vehicles. In the end, Black Jack drove the car to the edge of a cliff. Instead of braking, he accelerated. The car shot off the cliff and plunged straight to the bottom. The pursuing officers thought a life had certainly been lost, unaware that Black Jack had already jumped out beforehand. After that, he stole another police car and successfully escaped the chase. Along the way, Black Jack noticed that animals had been strangely attacked. There were obvious scars on the trees, and even the road sign had been sliced clean in half. After arriving at a nearby small town, Black Jack learned from the residents that harm occurred here on a fixed day every month. So Black Jack visited a survivor. The man told him that a fierce and unstoppable gust of wind had come, and then he was cut. Hearing this, a thought suddenly struck Black Jack. He secretly returned to the doctor's house and carefully studied a map the doctor had surveyed. In an instant, Black Jack understood the truth. Just then, the doctor's nephew aimed a gun at him, claiming he wanted revenge. Black Jack quickly explained that he wasn't the killer, but that 3 goblins were responsible. It was they who were roaming the forest, hurting nearby residents. Although the boy was a little doubtful, he chose to believe Black Jack. However, the next day, the boy turned around and brought the police with him. Just like that, Black Jack was arrested. He told the police he knew who the real culprit was, and insisted the culprit would appear at noon. So the officers tied him to a tree and lay in ambush around him, waiting for the perpetrator to show up. But after a long while, not a single suspicious person appeared. The police chief was growing impatient. At that very moment, a powerful gust of wind suddenly swept through. A wound was instantly slashed across the police chief's chest. When the strange wind stopped, the chief had already collapsed unconscious on the ground. Luckily, Black Jack was there and promptly gave him emergency medical treatment. The chief was temporarily out of danger. Afterward, Black Jack revealed the truth to everyone. It turned out that 5 kilometers away, there was a missile launch base. Whenever a missile was launched, it generated a high-speed spinning airflow. That was the reason the residents had been getting hurt. After hearing Black Jack's explanation, the police chief decided not to hold him accountable any further, and instead resolved to squeeze a hefty compensation payment out of the missile base.